Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pitch It, the funding competition of the LSE Alumni Association of Mumbai and Western India, in partnership with LSE Generate and powered by Oak North as part of our Entrepreneurship Month. I am Sharan Agarwal, an angel investor and the founder of Leviosa, a wellness brand. The theme of today's competition is to focus on social impact in South Asian nations. Without further ado, I would like to hand the virtual introduction over to the director of LSE, Baroness Minu Shafiq, after which I will go over the flow of today's events.
Hello, everyone. I'm Minu Shafiq, Director of the London School of Economics and Political Science, and I'm delighted to welcome you to Pitch It. Today's funding competition is part of the LSE Mumbai and Western India Alumni Association's Entrepreneurship Month and is supported by the school's Home for Entrepreneurship, LSE Generate, and powered by Oak North's brand new mentoring program. I'm proud to announce that Generate is continuing to grow the international chapter in Mumbai to support our alumni community of entrepreneurs. In collaboration with the alumni community and international chapter ambassadors, LSE Generate is curating a program of initiatives designed to equip our entrepreneurs with the knowledge and skills to build and scale businesses for the betterment of society. Today, we will hear from the founders who made it through to pitch their way to up to $3,500 in prize money. In true LSE style, today's founders have society at the core of their businesses. To qualify, they had to build businesses that benefit at least one South Asian country and work towards at least one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. After each founder has completed their pitch, our panel of esteemed judges will make the final decision and announce up to 3 winners. And it doesn't end there. The successful winners will continue to be supported by LSE Generate and will be matched with mentors who will support them on their entrepreneurial journey. I'll now hand over to the brilliant LSE Mumbai and Western India Alumni Association to begin. Thank you and good luck.
There you have it, everyone. That's the Baroness Minu Shafiq. So let's get started with the event. Each startup that was selected had to satisfy several baseline criteria. They will each have 4 minutes to pitch, followed by 5 minutes of Q&A by our esteemed panel of judges. I will raise my hand using the raise hand function, which I'm just about to show you, just like that. And once the pitch is completed, once that 1 minute is over, I will lower my hand, indicating that they had only that 1 minute left. And again, I will raise that hand at 4 minutes during the Q&A, and that will indicate that 1 minute is left. At the end, there will be the prize distribution, and the winner will receive £2,000. The first and second runner-ups will both receive £750 each. So I would now like to introduce our panel of judges and invite them to speak about themselves for a minute each before the pitches. Yes, can we start with Anita Belani, please?
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Sharan, and a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to a very engaging discussion. I'm Anita Bilani, and I am an alumni of XLRI, post which I've had about 34 years of work experience. I started out in human capital, worked with companies like American Express and Microsystems, KPMG, and was based in San Francisco in a global role with Sun Microsystems for several years before I got an opportunity to come back to India as the CEO of a consulting firm called Watson Wyatt. And since then, I've been in PNL roles and worked with Watson Wyatt and did a lot of work in leadership space, change management, transformation, etc. Led the India operations of Russell Reynolds, and then last 4 years I spent in private equity with Gaja Capital. I'm on the board of 6 companies, which include IDFC, AMC, Reddington, Foseco, Vivrithi Capital, and Eternis Fine Chemicals. And last year, I started my own firm called Emotionally, and this is in the mental health space. So just wanted to do something out of the box. So here I am, and look forward to hearing the pitches from the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Could we please hear from you, Ajit, a bit about yourself?
Hey everybody, my name is Ajit Khurana. I have played several roles. I have been entrepreneur for most of my 30 years odd of career. Though I started subsequent to my MBA, I started my career as a lecturer at the University of Texas at Austin, which is not the most usual first job that an MBA either has or aspires to have. Subsequently, I have been entrepreneur twice. I have also been an advisor to Kalari Capital, which is the 6th largest VC firm in India. Most recently, I was CEO of ZepPay, which at that point was India's largest cryptocurrency exchange. I helped it go abroad and set up customers in about 130 countries. In addition, I have worked with IIT Bombay, which is a premier engineering school in India, as the CEO of their business incubator called Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Presently, my interest is into decentralization in a variety of forms: decentralized money, decentralized organization, decentralized decision-making, and the likes. And I'm setting up DAOs. DAOs are decentralized autonomous organizations, and also working on things like regulations, policy, mechanism, processes, etc., related to DAOs. Inherent to a decentralized mechanism, regardless of whether it's decentralized e-commerce, decentralized social media, or what have you, tends to be a token economics, which works on the governance and incentive systems to make the decentralization work. So that is where cryptocurrency comes in. That also is a huge area of interest for me. For the last year or so, I have been located in India. For a few years before that, I was a resident of Singapore. And if the virus permits, I will soon be a resident of Dubai. Very happy to be here. I have participated in many events of this type for over a decade. But every time there is yet another event, I start with like as much renewed energy as all of the presenters will today, because at the end of it, what we are trying to do is to create something. And the process of creation, regardless of what it is we are creating, is very special. It's very special. As a result, much to the irritation of my close ones, especially my wife, I'm always creating new things, and I'm considered rather unstable person when it comes to one's career. I have, for the first 25 years of my career, my average duration in any one profession was about 2.5 years. So 10 different things in 25 years. I have stuck around to decentralization for 3 years now. And my wife keeps wondering, as in, does this changing of interests, is it only restricted to your job, or are other interests also rapidly changing? But that's something I'm never going to tell her the real answer to. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thanks, Ajit. That was fantastic. Eleanor, could we get some words about yourself, please?
Yes, of course. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for inviting me today. So I'm Elinor Honigstein. I head the UK office of the UK Israel Tech Hub, which is a UK government venture that was founded 10 years ago to really build tech partnerships between UK corporates and VCs and Israeli startups. So on a day-to-day, I speak with the largest corporates in the UK and trying to understand their needs and also the opportunities for startups that are coming from Israel. I've launched together with my team the UK Israel VC Club, that really to accelerate relationships between the two countries for investment. I'm also very, very active on diversity in tech. Inside and outside of my job, really trying to promote women and minorities in the industry. Prior to this job, I was working with Zinc VC, which is a social impact venture. They build social impact startups, very, very exciting. VC, if you haven't heard about it, do Google it. And I took a very interesting course in Haifa University in Israel on impact investing and social innovation. So very passionate to learn more and meet more advancements in this field. And I'm also an alumni of LSE, so very happy to be here, and thank you.
Thanks a ton, Eleanor. It's great to hear from you. I believe Vikram is unfortunately not able to make it. So
Vikram is here, Sharon.
I'm here, Sharon.
Fantastic, Vikram. Lovely. So can we please hear from you?
Great. Thanks a lot for having me here. I'm the founder and managing partner at Ivy Cap Ventures. We are currently managing about $200 million of assets with two funds. We are also in the process of raising another $200 million as we speak. We invest at Series A, Series B stages. We also have an angel fund where we invest at seed stage as well. In fact, my colleague who's also joined with me, Nilay, he runs our angel fund. Yeah, really glad to be here. Actually, one of the things that we do differently is we operate through this entire alumni ecosystem of the IITs and the IIMs. We also have a linkage with the endowment ecosystem. In fact, we were instrumental in setting up India's first endowment fund at IIT Delhi, which we launched in October of 2019. So quite excited to be here. Looking forward to the session today.
Thanks, Vikram. And last but not the least, Hannah, could you please share a bit about yourself?
Hi, hi everyone. Thanks so much for having me. Really exciting to be here. I'm one of the partners of a new London-based venture firm called Houghton Street Ventures, which is in formal partnership with the London School of Economics. We're raising our first fund right now, and we will invest in companies that have been founded by students and alumni of the university anywhere in the world. India is one of our markets of interest at seed and Series A. So we've been set up by 3 alums. I myself started my career actually in India, working out in Mumbai and Tamil Nadu. And have since spent the last 8 or 9 years predominantly working in fintech, but in the broader tech sector, working with early and high growth startups, doing a lot of corporate innovation, trying to do my own thing without much success, working with funds. And I've had a long relationship with the university. LJ, who heads up Generate, actually helped me get my first role out of my master's. And I'm lucky enough to sit on the board of LSE Generate. We as a fund really care also about ESG. We're not an impact fund, but we care about investing in companies that are kind of responsible, sustainable, and inclusive in the way that they operate. And we have set up a global network of 150 VC funds and about 50 LPs, trying to better integrate ESG practices into their investment activity.
Thank you, Hannah. Well, let's dive right in. The moment has come. So let's begin with the pitches. So first up is the Bombay. So I would like to invite Pallavi Singh to pitch. Pallavi, could you please share your screen and begin your pitch?
I have Palami with me as well, who's the founder of the Bombay. So Palami, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah. Hi everyone. This is Palmi. I'm the founder of the Bombay, and Pallavi is the CMO of the Bombay. So we are creating a B2B marketplace where we enable international brands and retailers in the West to source from ethical manufacturers and wholesalers based in low-income countries, especially in fashion and lifestyle. Currently the problems are like on none of the marketplaces you would find ethical label suppliers online. There is trust deficit when it comes to buying online in B2B. Personalization in B2B is amiss, and 70% of the sellers in India and Bangladesh, especially SMEs, and where working capital and digitization are sort of like negligible.
And we solve these problems by building a global ethical seller base where retailers, manufacturers, and brands can avail of MOQs, flexible payments, and advanced payouts. Personalization through superior user experience will be the core of our product. Our target user profile reflects our focus on local retailers and brands, and producers and manufacturers who can be small, medium, or big businesses. In terms of business model, the primary source initially at the initial level will be commissions, as our target right now is to expand our user base and transactions. And later, when transaction and trust builds up over a period of time, we plan to launch subscription models for business services and advisory for our users.
So we are currently focusing on sellers, onboarding sellers, and currently focusing on users and building the seller tools as well as community. By 21 Q3, we plan to launch our beta B2B trading app in UK, and we want to hit the US market, like US buyers, by end of this year, or at least by 2022, early 2022. So if you can look at the competition slide, our USPs are that we are getting unique goods from developing nations in wholesale. Apart from that, you can give low MOQ orders, and we have ethical supplier base. So we are sort of a full stack marketplace at this point in time, which is what we are promising to.
Yeah, in terms of traction, we ran a 4-month pilot, which was pretty successful, with transactions over 3,000 US dollars. And this was on a global scale. So our LOI actually came from Istanbul. Polami has also built the Indian SME network, so much so that the network is virtually on our WhatsApp. We are building similar user base in Bangladesh, and we already have the advantage of synergies there, as our investors are from Bangladesh, and have allied businesses in Bangladesh, sorry. And we are also pledging towards goal number 5 and 8 of the UNSG goals.
Yeah, so so we are actually right now immediately looking for a target of $250K, out of which, as being said already by Pallavi, 67K has been promised. So we have a space for around $183K, and LSE's prize money will contribute towards that goal, and especially towards admin and legal. And our team, if you can see, like, our team is diverse and global, with experience of building startups and working at startups, and as well as different other amazing companies. And also we are a team comprising of LSE, Yale, IIT, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. And if you have any questions, please do ask. Yes.
Hi, this is Anita. I just had a question. How are you? I mean, you did this pilot where you were able to generate $3,000. What was your approach in getting people to come on your platform? What was the acquisition strategy?
So so this is like, so we have been pivoting. So earlier we had a social media, we had a nice website, and we had those like these kind of things, like if you see these kind of rugs and these kind of stoles and accessories. And people kind of knew us, people like LBB and others, like we partnered with them, they wrote about us, we had done pop-ups, and people found us online, and people found us on our social media, and that's how we got those things. It's not something which is like our friends bought or something. It's actually happened right from the social media, right from the website. And we used to bring those stories, like, you know, like for example, suppose these rugs, these are coming from tier 4 city, like Rajasthan manufacturers. So we used to like bring those things, we used to, like, you know, put the content out, and that's how it sort of reached, and that's how we got the sales. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hey, may I ask a question, Sharon?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, right. So Pallavi, thanks for the presentation. Tell me, you listed at least on 2 occasions one of your strengths as being low minimum order quantity, and you also said that competitively that sets you apart. Usually minimum order quantity is kept a little high because of economic reasons. Can you explain why your economics are different compared to your competitors, which allows you to lower your minimum order quantity?
So so when you're looking at the buyers outside, So when they're trying to buy initially, right now there has been a lot of hue and cry about non-ethical supply sources, less trade digitization, fast fashion, and so on and so forth. So now what's happening, if you kind of talk to the buyers outside, the psych is that initially they want to see with 150 units or max to max 500 units. They do not want to mass manufacture it and then they get it. So that is something like a trust building thing. So suppose you're testing out your design, or suppose you're a white label and you want to see, say this shirt, if it's fine, if it's not, like you want like some samples of it. So we want to ensure that, okay, fine, you do not have to have that compulsion in place where you have to order like 5,000, 50,000 things are going in waste or something of that sort. Our sellers are providing the fact that we can, if you want, we can ensure that we do the low MOQ for you, and we can do the customization you. For the second part of your question, which you said about that there's a whole pressure of large MOQ and so on and so forth. So because of the pandemic, there is not actually. Because of the pandemic, this sector has been especially hit, and and especially South Asian, there's a little bit of deficit, like trust deficit here, because they were initially buying from China, but then now they want to buy from other nations, especially India and Bangladesh. But then they still are worried about the fact that if the sources are clean or not, because their customers are going to question about it. So in that case, it becomes very important for them. They test it out, they build the trust, then they go ahead with bigger orders if at all it's necessary. But then it's also about conscious manufacturing, which is in the trend. So it's like trade digitization in the trade. So irrespective of whatever has happened during the pandemic, there has been a global shift of $100 billion shift from offline to online. So all these things are like intertwined. If I answer your question correctly, yeah.
God, thanks.
I had a question. You
Yes.
thanks for the presentation. You talk one thing about having an impact person on your team. So really curious actually to see how you're defining impact and how you're tracking and measuring and reporting that. And secondly, you talk a lot about your differentiator being ethical labor or ethical suppliers, but I'm unsure how you're actually going about ensuring the standards are being met. How does that come into your model? How are you integrating that into your supplier selection and whole?
Yeah, so these are like sort of interrelated. Isa is an impact advisor who sort of works in impact startups, and then she has been advising impact startups. She has been working in international development and also works with UK's Department of Business. She has worked with UK's Department of Business. So how we are measuring it or how we are selecting it. So what we are doing right now, we have two ways of doing it. The first one is we are looking at those kind of manufacturers or producers who have like, let's say, certifications like fair trade, WRAP, SAI. So these are the basic certifications. If they have it, we are onboarding them. But here comes the question, which is a lot of SMEs do not have it, at least in South Asia, because of the fact that ROI is more. When they get the certifications, return on investment is not like something which is in parallel. So what we want to do here, we want to have our operation team, like, so that we kind of physically go and then audit, do the video processing. And that's what even like, for example, here in India, recently Zomato became an IPO. So when Zomato started, it was a listing platform, and it used to hire a lot of foot soldiers, and it used to tell them to go to the restaurants, then check the food, and then that's how they used to certify it. So initially, trust building is something which is of primary importance for us. And that is the reason why we do not want to outsource it to a third party partner who goes and visits the manufacturers, which we want to do it by ourselves. And that is the reason also why we need money to ensure that everything is in place. So these are the two ways we are doing it.
How are you going to be able to do that at scale when your suppliers are so distributed?
So right now the focus is mainly on ensuring that these things are in place. So we want to ensure that, okay, fine, at least we bring this up. And then once we establish that level of trust factor in place, so more like beyond and above that, we will look at the certifications, and in some cases we will physically go and we will still look at it. And at scale, we will find out another ways of doing it. Like we will probably go for this P2P dating. We will see what the businesses are saying, how they are doing it. And secondly, so most of the startups here, like in the sense in this sector especially, are trying for a trace tool which none of us have been yet able to crack it. So that's something which we want to do it in the future. At this stage, at this juncture, it is not possible for us. So for trace tool, either we need like high-end blockchain, or else we need to do it with RFID. I spoke to someone who's working on RFID. When the person is using RFID, cost of production of one garment increases manifold. So that is again not feasible. So that is something which we want to do it in stages. At this point, our primary focus is ensuring on certifications and doing the physical checks. Slowly and gradually, we want to collect enough data to have that proper trace in place.
Alumni, I think you need to
Yeah,
really cut it short. Is that because the judges want to ask the questions and it's the other startups also have
I'm
to.
sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Uh, are there any more questions from the judges? The judges have any more questions?
No,
No,
none,
Sharan.
none from
No,
me.
no.
No, no.
Okay. So thank you so much,
Thank you.
Paulami and Pallavi.
Thank
We'll
you.
now move to, if you could stop sharing your
Yes,
screen,
sir.
then we can now move to Crowd Invest. And I'd like to invite Nakul Garg to present.
Hi, Sharan. Hi, hello everyone.
So
Shall I
I'm going to start the time. Please let me know when you're ready.
just a second? Can you see my screen?
Still loading, I think. It's saying it's sharing, but it's still blank. Okay, I can see it now.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you everyone for listening to us. Crowd Invest, a cross-border crowdfunding platform. We are on a mission to provide foreign investors and Indian diaspora an investment platform for promoting FDI into Indian startup ecosystem. To understand our market, we reached out to 100 plus investors from UK and Europe. 68% of the respondents acknowledged that the non-existence of a trusted investment channel as the main reason for not investing into the Indian startups or outside of UK. Their main pain points were transparency, trust, and accountability. To address that problem, we at Crowd Invest started building a cross-border crowdfunding platform for investors to find deals and co-invest with lead investors in the weighted Indian startups. We source our deals from our partners like angel networks and accelerator programs. We then pre-qualify and list them in the private deal room for leaders exclusive screening. Leaders back the deal and the deal goes live for crowdfunding, and retail investors co-invest with the leaders to fund the business. Our solution gives the users an opportunity to invest into the deals from India, analyze data, forecast performance, and matchmake with the right startups, diversify portfolio beyond European borders, make an impact into the emerging economy, and save time by focusing only on qualified leads. We are one of its first kind UK India FCA regulated platform. We are going to giving the matchmaking opportunities as per the investment criteria of an investor. The investors can co-invest with the lead investor and follow their portfolio and investment thesis. We would be creating a rewarding and impact making ecosystem and give our investor an exit opportunity within the CI investment community. Our total addressable market as per bottom-up approach is £6 million on an annual recurring revenue basis at a global level. And as per the top-down approach, it can be reaching up to £1.3 billion. We started our journey into June 2019. We did our first prototype testing in 2020. We got incubated at IIM Udaipur and supported by LSE Generate. We got our seed funding from Red Ribbon Asset Management in 2021. We are planning to apply for FCA license and onboarding 2,000 plus investors by next year. As per our competitive landscape, we are pretty much uniquely positioned and first of its kind as per our value proposition. Our technology and features are pretty much different from the existing crowdfunding platform and unique as per the geographical focus and the technology we are using, like social investing and data analytical and forecasting solutions are somewhat unique in our solution. As we are meeting social United Nations Sustainable Goals, where we are formalizing a solution for access to financial service, financial inclusion, and mobilizing additional funds to the developing economies. We are giving our investors and secondary market exit like seeders give to their investors who are investing in seeders or to their portfolio companies. Similarly, like Crowdcube gives their investors an opportunity to exit through trade of sales of shares, IPO, or probably merger and acquisition. We are going to expand our operations to the scale up businesses of our portfolio by giving them an opportunity to list at a stock exchange. We are going to also diversify our geographical focus into different regions. The team is currently, we have Suchit Panos as chairman, myself leading as the business operations, Nirmal is leading the technical operations, and Red Ribbon is financing our businesses. We are going to utilize 2,000 fund for social media marketing. These are our networks, and we would be leveraging the UK-India opportunity after post-Brexit and the FTA agreements, which will increase the UK-India trade relationship. Thank you. Yeah. Any questions, guys?
Hi.
Nakul, just to clarify, you are yet to receive your FCA license, right? So then only you can start this investing, right?
Yep. So we would be starting our operations by October or November. That's our plan.
Okay. And how is it different? Be Republic or like Angel List?
So first of all, like it's different in a sense, like there are the features which we are pretty much focusing on, which are going to make us different. Republic is first of all in US. There is a restriction for US investors to invest outside of UK US economy. And when we are talking about the social investing features, it is a kind of an ecosystem we are creating where only lead investors have backed any of the deals. Lead investors, we mean here like institutional investor, VC fund, or angel investor. After getting backing from a reputed investor, then only the deal goes live in the crowdfunding. Another unique feature is like social investing. The investors can follow the portfolio of other investors and would be also able to make a co-investment with the other investors. And in the future, we would be adding up the features like forecasting and historical data performance, and which would also create an ecosystem of reporting between constant reporting between the investors and startups.
Hey, Nakul, hi, Ajit here.
Hi,
Couple of questions. First of all, we can see that you mentioned something about forecasting. Are you saying that you intend to start forecasting the performance of the companies that are funded on your platform? Is that what you're talking about?
So basically, we would be collecting the historical data of the companies, which if there is 3 years of performance which we have received, we would be using AI technology, which would be forecasting what is anticipated. Obviously, these results are going only indications for the investors while making a decision, but it would be really helpful for matchmaking tools which we are providing for our investors.
Got it, Nakul. Next, I'll just move on. Yes, so you're basically forecasting the likely performance. Second question is, these companies that you will be invested into are going to be largely Indian companies?
Yes, all are going to be largely Indian companies. We are focusing only
so you do know that other than FCA or any other license, you would also need to be registered with SEBI, either in the format of an alternative investment fund or otherwise. Otherwise, such investments will be very tax inefficient. As you might be aware, based on the section 65 of income tax.
Yes, I am aware of that. So basically, we are not taking money from Indian investors at the first place. We are giving UK investors to opportunity to co-invest with the investors who have backed the deal. So suppose angel investor back a deal or a VC fund back a deal in India, we are giving an opportunity to UK retail investors to co-invest into those opportunities.
Nakul, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. But Nakul, if based on the income tax assessing officer, the valuation at which this deal happens, if the entity investing is unregistered, as would be your case, unregistered in India, that is, if the valuation at which the deal happens is greater than the fair market value as determined by the income tax officer, all of the valuation in excess would be treated as income and would be taxed, though it is investment, which is the reason for registering with the authority, which is SEBI. Just keep that in mind going forward, because this is why Angel List India, Let's Venture, all of them have now structured themselves as category 1 angel funds with SEBI. For otherwise, it's tax inefficient.
That's in our plan for sure. Like that's in our plan.
Right. And finally, while you talked about a lot of uniqueness, I'm leaving aside your forecasting of performance of startups, as well as the fact that you probably will give some portfolio approach. But otherwise, there are several platforms already, like leave alone Angel List of US and Republic of US. But in India, Let's Venture, Angel List India, etc., make Indian startups available to the rest of the world pretty much in the same way that you do, unless I have missed something.
So basically the difference is like if I'm asking a UK investor or a European investor to invest into the Indian startup, what is the options for them to do it right now? That is the question. If I ask you this right now, can you answer me sitting in UK or London, can you invest in any of the Indian startups in an early stage of operation before IPO? How we can do that? Until you reach out to Angel List as a communicator.
They could go to Angel List India, they could go to Let's Venture India, they could go to our ventures and a bunch of other such platforms which can source deals from all over the world because of registration in both territories.
But the difference is like they are not FCA registered, and we are gonna be doing the crowdfunding where we giving the retail investors an option to co-invest with these companies. So that makes a big difference when we are building up the trust. That is what we actually realized when we did the market research. They don't believe in the outside. They are not having the understanding of the Indian ecosystem if they are not born in India. So they believe FCA as a trusting platform.
Let's just quickly answer the questions of Anita and Bilani, just 2 minutes, because we are running over time then.
Sure.
So I'll just keep it brief.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So just a quick question on government support, because I know that here the government in the UK launched the UK-India Tech Hub in 2018 to really accelerate the bilateral relationships between the two countries. So I'm just wondering about any government support that you might have or you're planning to have, and also the strategy for scaling. So is this about partnering with local VCs in each country that you're looking to operate in?
Sure, I answered both the questions. First of all, we currently don't have any government funding or support, but we are willing to and would be delighted if we get any government association and can work with government in a way where we can build our association. So we're definitely open for government grants and all. Secondly, we are going to expand to the other economies and geographies as our operation increases. And that is our plan. Obviously, when our traction between UK and India increases, we would be also opening up different ways of reaching out to other economies and other users across the globe.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So very quickly, Nakul, a couple of questions. One is I'm not understanding the social impact, connection here. There is a requirement that all these startups should have that social agenda, which I'm not getting, number one. And number two, my questions were similar to Ajit's about the tax implications and all the approvals you require. But from a crowdfunding perspective, you are looking at people coming in very, very small ticket size in terms of investing. So how will you manage that you get the right kind of people to come into the platform to invest? And what is your acquisition strategy? Because, it can become a free for all, that people from all over the creation can say, okay, we want to invest a very small sum of money in these startups. So can you just share your view on that?
So while we shortlist our companies, like when we pre-qualify companies, we make sure they are following either of the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. So there always gonna be a impact related stuff when we are shortlisting any of these companies. And when I say that as a platform, when we provide an additional funding through by actually for mobilizing additional funds from the developed market into the developing market. That is the one of the biggest leverage we are trying to take by giving the Indian economy and the emerging economy funding from the other part of the world. So secondly, like as you said, like regarding the taxation point of view, we would be also it's a part of plan in a 1 year time. We would be actually approaching SEBI. As you must be aware, in India right now, equity crowdfunding is not regulated or prohibited by SEBI. We would be going with the AI route when we are collecting money from the perspective from the Indian investors, and definitely when the economy in India as well open up for the crowdfunding route for equity, we would be actually also leveraging as a first mover advantage in a sense of between a cross-border crowdfunding where we have already made our routes. We totally agree. Let's Venture and our funds or our ventures are already doing it. But the approach we are going to be taking is going to be making us unique. And I would say these platforms are more of a networking platform, but our approach is totally going to be a technology platform like Crowdcube and Seeders do it.
Nakul, can you just address Hannah's question? She's had her hand raised for quite some time. Just 30 seconds, just please.
I was
yeah.
just curious what actual kind of research and customer validation you've done in the UK investor side. Like, how many people have you spoken to? How do you know what the demand is going to be like, and how do you actually plan to onboard? Like, what's your go-to-market for those individuals?
So correct. So first we reach out to like everything happened during the COVID time. So we organized calls with the few of the investors. I would have be happy to share the data here, but it's gonna take a lot of time. But most of our users like were either Indian diaspora, and a few of them were professional investors, which were from the investment ecosystem, like VC funds, private equity funds, or investment banks. So the kind of responses we received were which were focusing only on kind of a trusting ecosystem or channel, if we can have, which will show that in the future, like they would be able to equally trust like the way they are trusting the Crowdcube in UK market. So similarly, I think most of them showed a positive response. If they believe on that investment channel, they would be happy to invest across borders. It's not only about India. We would be also as we grow, we would be also targeting other emerging market in Africa and Southeast Asia too as we grow. That's the plan.
Okay, Nakul, thank you so much. I think we've run way over time. I'm sorry if we couldn't get all the answers to your questions, judges, but we just in the interest of time, we've got to cut this short. Could you
Thank you
all,
guys.
if you
Thank you
don't
so much.
mind, yeah, if you don't mind, could you all fill in the scorecards for Bombay and for Crowd Invest in the meantime? And the next startup.
So will we have time to do that at the end? Because there's not a lot of time in between to fill in the forms. Will we have time to fill them in at the end?
If you want to do it at the end, you can do it after as well. It's up to you. Yeah. So yeah, the next startup would be Impagro Farming Solutions Private Limited, and to present, there's going to be Surat Patel and Akbar Sher Khan. Just one housekeeping rule, please, for all the startups that are pitching, please keep your answers brief, because we want all the judges to get their answers and for all of their questions to be answered. So please do keep your answers brief. That being said, over to you, Impagro.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Fine. So hi, I'm Surit, and along with Akbar, we've co-founded Impagro Farming Solutions, where we're developing sustainable first-mile agricultural supply chains. So as the world moves towards a net zero future, we believe there's some really exciting opportunities and new markets opening up for Indian farmers. These markets include investments, multinational food brands, which are investing heavily in India. These agriculture supply chains to supply their operations. And increasingly, they're also under pressure to make sure that these supply chains are sustainable. Then there's opportunities for Indian farmers to become producers of renewable energy. For example, they can install solar panels for their farm operations and sell the surplus energy to their neighbors. They can also process their farm waste into biogas and compost. Interestingly, there's also rapidly growing demand now for financial products such as carbon offsets and green bonds. By working with farmers to improve the sustainability of their practices, we can develop these products. There's over 120 million farmers in India, giving us an unparalleled opportunity to build the supply chain for these new markets. However, they're currently very fragmented and really uncoordinated. So the big question is, how can you organize these farmers into a first mile supply chain for these new markets? Our solution is a franchise model, which partners with rural entrepreneurs and farmer producer companies. In our model, we begin right at the planning stage, where we identify a crop mix for our farmers to grow, which is in sync with market demand. We introduce sustainable farming practices and the use of clean energy. And we develop an investment plan to fill the green infrastructure needs of our farmers. We then support our franchisees to implement these plans by giving them access to technology and services from our ecosystem partners. Finally, we have the market linkages to generate all of this into revenue. Between us, our team has over 20 years experience, international experience, giving us really well placed to deliver on this opportunity. Our diverse professional backgrounds include business management, agribusiness, environmental management, and international development, which we feel is a perfect combination needed to lead impactful and sustainable business in rural India. Our traction so far includes a farmer network that stretches across Western and Central India and market linkages in 2 major cities, including with the biggest names in India's modern retail sector. We've built collaborations with NGOs such as Tata Trust, which give us connect to thousands of farmers on the ground. And we've also built collaborations with ecosystem partners and agtech companies, which can provide the technologies and services that our franchisees need. And we feel this is the perfect foundation from which to now launch our franchise model. Finally, let's think about the impact. 10% of the world's population live in rural India, and 25% of global man-made greenhouse gases come from agriculture. We have to find a more sustainable way for India's rural economy to develop, and we feel our model can do this.
Hi, this is Anita. A quick question. I know my fellow judges will also want to ask. It's very interesting that you've built this kind of a network, but one of the biggest challenges with agriculture in India today is one is sustainable farming, and the other is the kind of crops that you want farmers to really grow. They are resistant to growing them because of not enough understanding of what is really required. There is so much of alternate farming that is needed to be done, but there is a lot of concentration of paddy growing that happens in India. So when you really look at your ecosystem and as you try to build this, how will you ensure that one, you're getting sustainable practices, and the other, the kind of crops that you need from these farmers?
So I think the key is to the market demand. So one of the reasons why farmers in India keep growing things like paddy, wheat, sugarcane, cotton in kind of unsustainable combinations is that these crops have stable markets which they can sell into. They're not always the most lucrative markets, but what they have, it gives them stability because they know they're going to get a fixed price, and that the government is there to procure it, or the cotton ginnery or the sugar mill is there to procure it. So what we really want, if we want to promote more sustainable, farming practices, you've got to make sure that the farmers have a market for those crops. So that's why, we focus on identifying, say if we, in a certain area, we identify it's the most sustainable combination of crops there is, say, potatoes and pulses. then we'll go out and make sure we've got market demand for those crops. And at the same time, we need to reward the farmers for following more sustainable practices. So that's why we also kind of, looking at kind of promoting, going into things like carbon offsets and green bonds, where like there's a market now, like a growing market for people willing to pay for more sustainable practices, and we've got to kind of align ourselves with that market.
Okay, thank you.
Surit, can you throw some light on like how does the competition look like?
Yeah, so like if you look at the Indian agtech sector, like I would say like there's two kind of main types of startups. One is the kind of the technology guys who have like developed some like a new hardware. And then you have kind of marketplaces. So it's marketplaces either for inputs or for outputs. What we're, how we kind of see ourselves as different is that we're not just a marketplace, but we're actually like building a supply chain where we work through our franchisees to kind of coordinate our farmers' practices with market demand. So it's a much more kind of coordinated offering than just having like a simple marketplace. And where we kind of try to really differentiate ourselves is on the sustainability side of things. So we're going to align all our kind of activities with sustainability principles, and that kind of leads us to kind of those three kind of markets that we're aiming for: the green finance, the renewable energy, and the sustainable food. So by aligning ourselves with sustainability principles, we kind of opens up those three higher value markets.
Yeah, and just to add to that, what Surit said is, from a social impact point of view, it's the supply chains need to sit near the farmers rather than away from them in the cities. Otherwise, those farmers will never get empowered. They'll always be stuck in this web of middlemen and traders, because they need the market demand first and foremost, and that needs to be linked through infrastructure and supply chain. And that's a model which we're trying to develop, that how best can these farmers get financed to kind of own that supply chain. They actually, at the end of the day, we want to give the ownership of the supply chain into the hand of the farmers through our kind of franchise network.
Hi guys, nice to chat again. What are the main issues or challenges that you're envisaging for kind of scaling this up? And another question, is there any potential that that the power gets taken out of the hands of the farmers, and I'm just trying to think through the franchise model. Is there any future where the farmers are actually kind of have the lower hand in negotiating price and access?
So I think just the second question. So something we want to do is like, and this kind of helps answer the first question also. Like, so eventually, with the kind of funds we raise, we want to develop a digital kind of platform which will do two things. One, they will kind of help us kind of scale our operations and access more farmers, and make it, allow us to manage these larger supply chains at a lower cost than having like a huge kind of manpower force kind of visiting all these farms. But secondly, like we also want to, through that, we want to like track like how the payments through the franchisee and how they get to the farmers. So like as part of our franchise criteria, we'll say that, okay, if we buy this potato from the franchisee at 10 rupees, then 8 rupees has to go to the farmer. So we can, through the digital platform, we can kind of enforce that and make sure that the money goes to the farmer's account. Yeah. And I think it's easier now with like kind of UPI and like payment gateways that are pretty widely used in rural India. So the farmers also like.
So there's transparency around the pricing.
Yeah. Just to add what Surit said is, with the approach we took, we didn't set up a digital platform and go out and start data mining thousands and thousands of farmers' data points and then going out to investors and saying like, look, we've got so many thousand farmers, whether they actually transact with you, whether they trust you or not, without any verification. So that's why right now our approach is to kind of build a supply chain, build the trust, because agriculture is a very trust-based industry. And then overlaying a digital platform once we've established that trust, and that's what we're trying to achieve with our kind of networks of NGOs and reputable field organizations, that the trust needs to be built in first, and then the data can be collected and collated to kind of work towards a scalable model.
And I think before you'd maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but we talked about like the education, the data that you could use to then educate the farmers about like the way that they were handling the crops, how they were, the seeds they were using, the way they were treating them. Is that still part of your plan to increase the likelihood of a good output?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the analytics side of it automatically kind of gets built in once we kind of built our digital platform. So we've got a pathway to kind of building, a complete holistic solution. The problem was like there's a lot of startups out there. I mean, they'll be burning, a lot of money just in terms of kind of data mining, and that's something which we didn't want to do. We want to actually build a real supply chain on the ground, which creates, real impact. So that was our kind of main objective. But we have it planned. The analytics is part of predictive analytics is part of our kind of bigger goal, and helping the farmers achieve better prospects.
I think we're out of time for Impagro now. I think let's move on to ZLab now. I think we're running out of time. So thank you for that wonderful pitch, both Surad and Akbar. Now I would like to invite Rohit Mukul from ZLab Pharmacy to present his pitch.
Hi everybody. Hi. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. So we are ZLab Pharmacy. What we do is we sell quality medicines at 50 to 90% lower prices directly to the patient by creating a vertically integrated sales platform from manufacturing to the patient. So 2 years ago, I saw this myself, right? There was a rickshaw pull in Bombay, buys a diabetic medicine daily from a neighborhood chemist because he cannot afford the monthly prescription in one go. The vice president of a pharmaceutical MNC purchases medicines from a more affordable generic distributor in India, in Indore, because even as people in India become increasingly aware of the bioequivalence of medicines, or so-called generic medicines, they don't have any affordable alternatives to it. For instance, a leading product called Volini, a very leading pain relieving gel in India, costs 165 rupees by Sun Pharma. The same exact product, same exact composition at ZLab Pharmacy costs 25 rupees to the patient. On a slightly more serious example, Atorvastatin is a leading cholesterol drug across the globe. It costs 135 rupees per 10 tablets to the patient in India. The same exact product, same exact composition, made by same exact people, costs 9 rupees at ZLab Pharmacy. Why it is so expensive otherwise in the market is because the current Indian pharmaceutical market is highly unorganized. There are multiple stakeholders involved, as you can see in my slide. And every single person makes money at the back of the patient's affordability. How we do it at ZLab is we are vertically integrated. So there's a manufacturer. We buy from the manufacturer, source it at a centralized warehouse, give it to the patient directly from a company-owned store or online. Or in the B2B part of a business, we give it to a franchise who gives it to the patient in return. So the key takeaways from that is we have more than 1,000 products, all of which are private label, which means that every single product that we sell at ZLab Pharmacy has the name ZLab on it. For instance, ZLab pain relieving gel, ZLab paracetamol, and so on. On an average, all our prices are 70 to 90% cheaper than our market competitors. While creating so much value for our customers, we also are able to create value for ourselves, the company, and the shareholders, as we have on an average 60% gross margins, as there are no intermediate commissions involved. So currently, there are 3 unique revenue centers in the business. Number 1 is franchise. We have 1,400 franchisee shops at the moment. We have 30 company-owned stores, and we shipped 3,000 online orders this month. I'm happy to talk more about the revenue centers in the Q&A session if the judges wish to know. So ZLab Pharmacy has already tested the waters. We are only 2 years old as we speak. In the first year, we did £500,000 or 4 crore Indian in revenues. In the second year, we did £1.5 million or 16 crore Indian rupees in revenues. This year, we set out to exceed at least £5 million in revenues or 50 crore INR. there's obviously no doubt about how huge Indian pharmaceutical market is. It's hugely underpenetrated, and there's huge scope. It's 1.4 lakh crore last year, and most of it is medicines. What Zila Pharmacy ought to do is we ought to commoditize individual medicines and emerge as a thought leader of high quality, affordable healthcare. Why we are doing this is because this is how it's supposed to be. In any first world, so to say, first world developed nation, their medicines are sold by their salt name, composition name, while in India, due to medical patriarchy, which has gone on for the last 200 years, patients still suffer because of branded names on generic products. There are multiple goals by UN that we cover at Zila Pharmacy, but two very, very obvious ones being no poverty, because 30% of Indian citizens are pushed below the poverty line because of their affordability in medicines. Second one being good health, for obvious reasons. We've been into the business. All right. Thank you so much. This is the team. I'm the CEO founder, and we have 300 more people working at Zila Pharmacy as we speak. I'm happy to take questions now. Thank you.
Rohit, this is Anita. Just a question for you. E-pharmacies as well as, the entire healthcare space has become really crowded, as you know. There are several providers now that are trying to come up with different kinds of approaches to acquiring, customers. You have PharmEasy, 1mg, etc., etc. You probably play in that space, though you have a price advantage that you're trying to build. But tell me, how are you acquiring your customers? Because how do people know about Z-Lab? And are you able to satisfy the needs of all the customers? Because there are millions of chemistries that you're required to stock. And how do you do that? I mean, you need all kinds of licenses. So this is a very complex business. Just
Absolutely.
Share a little bit about this. Yeah.
Absolutely. So how we are better than 1mg and PharmEasy from business point of view is because I have 70% gross margins in online business, right? Because I'm vertically integrated. 1mg and PharmEasy are a discounting model. What they essentially do is, so any of these e-pharmacy or sort of medicine players in India leverage on the current unorganized sector in India, current unorganized pharmaceutical sector in India, while what Zila Pharmacy ought to do, we take this unorganized sector and try to organize it. So every single customer knows that Zila Pharmacy is vertically integrated. It's a better price, high quality medicine. So we take this unorganized sector of India and try to organize it by cutting down the arbitrage in the supply chain, which is unnecessary because of medical patriarchy, which has gone on in India for the last 100 years or so.
I understand that. My question was a little different. How are you acquiring your customers? How do people know about Z-Labs? Yeah.
So we open, mainly two ways. We open physical stores where my pharmacists tell the patients about the bioequivalence of medicines, and they become our customer. That is one, through our pharmacist. Second is through online spends, online advertisement, through YouTube, Facebook, Google, and where we tell people about how these medicines are equal. And also as people already know that all these medicines are the same, because a diabetic patient has probably been taking medicine for the last 20 years. So they understand that medicines are the same, so they do not have an offering which gives them the medicine priced at the right value. So we come across as this true generic player, and that's how we acquire them as of now. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
This might be an ignorant question, but what's the regulation in this market?
We require drug licenses. We take drug licenses on the basis of our pharmacists. We have over 100 pharmacists working with us. That's the only sort of regulatory issue. Other than that, is trademark. So every single product that we sell at Zila Pharmacy is a trademark registered product. And other than that, there are no licensing as such, because all the manufacturers are already licensed to make these products in India.
Right. Okay.
I can't hear you.
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Hi. This is hi, this is Elinor here. Can you elaborate a little bit about the technology aspect in your venture? What's about the e-pharmacy and what makes it unique?
Okay, so this slide compares it to an e-pharmacy. So because we're 90% cheaper than the market, all other e-pharmacies in India make 10% gross margin after discounts that they offer to the customer. My product, even after offering 60 to 90% discounts to the customer, we are still making 70% gross margins because we are vertically integrated. Because that's how the Indian pharmaceutical space is. So even while our throughputs or revenues are a lot lower per customer, we make more money per customer than any of the other e-pharmacies in the world. Their model is essentially based on discounting, while our model is based on lower MRP, like the product itself is cheaper, and we make 70% or more money on every single product that we sell than any of our competitors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we've hit the halfway mark there. Thanks for
thank you
for that, Rohit. Yeah, and it's now time for Art Gyan Live Private Limited. I'd like to invite Gautam Mohanty to pitch. Rohit, could you please stop sharing your screen?
Hello, everyone. Let me just bring my screen up. Please let me know when you can see it. Sharan, is it visible?
It's visible.
Excellent. Hello, everyone. It's been really interesting hearing a lot of amazing pitches from amazing fields. We come from a field which is often quite ignored, especially the people working in that field, which is art, whether it's music, painting, etc. Let me share a little more of who we are and what we do. So quickly, we are a live streaming platform. It's our own platform. We developed it. It's custom made for teaching music, theater, and subjects from the world of art. We run online classes. We've been running it since April this year. We also do online events, which is essentially artists coming together and creating various art forms. And then the main reason why we bring this is, and I've skipped some of that part to save time, is essentially it is difficult to find good gurus or good tutors in this field. And for good tutors and gurus, it's difficult for them to find an avenue to generate sustainable income. So that's what fueled our desire to start this. COVID, one of the silver linings that happened was accelerated our timelines, and we launched something sooner than we had expected, and we're getting quite a lot of traction, which you'll see down the line. This is a market size now. Of course, the big numbers of 10 billion USD edtech. This is not specifically for art, but of this, about 600 to 700 million is edtech, and of that, a sizable chunk comes from India. We have a few competition, but they've been around a long time, but have not scaled up. They've been pretty specific to smaller markets within India, whether it's iPassio or KYT. And then, of course, the bigger ones are Byju's, Udemy, Masterclass. If they choose to get into this field, then there will be significant competition. What we teach, so like I said, it's predominantly art, where some of the main areas are music, dance, theater, wellness, food, we have a lot of artists, which I'll talk about going forward. It's a simple business model. How it works, it's people come online on our platform. It's a web-based platform. It's not an app. They select the course, they identify the guru of their choice, make a booking. The scheduling system is online. They select the session, book a time slot, and then the class happens. Once the class happens, those are available as recording to the subscribers to relearn and go on about it. Why us? So I think this is important. why are we special, so to say, is specifically for a couple of reasons. One is I have Ankur, my colleague, here with me, who comes from Teamworks, who are our predominant partner.
Gautam, I believe your connection is. I think your connection's gone. Is there somebody else from the team who would like to step in?
Hi. I'm Gautam's colleague Ankur, and I would be happy to step in.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So give me 1 second.
You have like 25 seconds left, so go for it.
Oh. Sorry, I just have to open the. So why? So as Gautam was saying, so we have partnered with this company called Teamwork Arts. Teamwork Arts is a 30-year-old company and primarily into the arts and the entertainment business. And we are very. I mean, the main reasons. Sorry, 2 seconds. I have to open this presentation. Yeah, can you see my screen now? So Gautam was on this slide, which is how are we special? So it's basically it's a site.
Sorry about that. I'm back. I don't know if you can hear me.
Gautam, resume. I just kind of filled in very, very briefly, but
no,
please.
perfect. Sorry about that. I hope you can hear us. Murphy's Law had to happen when we were pitching. Our platform never fails us, which has been there. Should I just go back? Ankur, were you on the same slide?
I'm happy to. Yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah, no, okay. So like, I don't know where I got cut off, but I'll come to the meat of the matter, which is, so
how
one side is Teamworks, which is essentially, like Ankur was filling in, the company which has 1,000+ artists who are exclusively signed with us. And on the other side, Ankur, can you stop sharing? I'll put my slide up.
Sure.
Yeah. Perfect. Sorry about that. So yeah, one side is Teamworks, and on the other side is essentially our students. So we have exclusively partnered with some of the top schools to begin with, and few of the corporates who have exclusive. So we have exclusive deals with the GD Goenka Group, some of the DPS in Delhi, and then Mahindra being one of them, which gives us a steady supply of students keen to learn. So that's where we come from in terms of why us. Let me share why now. So thankfully, digital adoption is at an all-time high because of.
Maybe you take this up in the Q&A because it would be unfair for the other.
Sure, absolutely. Let's do that. Is our time over? Is it a minute or?
Yeah, time's over. I've gone.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. Happy to take questions and fill that in.
So Gautam, like, how do you hire the gurus? Like, and what's your strategy behind that?
So, okay, like I said, so Teamworks is a partner to get gurus on board. Now, what has happened is these are artists who have performed in the field of art for the past several years under various Teamworks events. So that's where we shortlist them. And then there is a strict selection criteria, because typically there are artists who are amazing, but might not be amazing tutors. So there is a strict selection criteria. They go through that, and then that's when they're able to become gurus on our platform.
How many artists, how many gurus do you have as of now?
So we have about 1,000 gurus, slightly less than 1,000, 986 gurus with us. Yes.
Gautam, quick question. I know we are now all online. We're doing everything online, and COVID has sort of, stirred us in that direction.
Right.
But how effective is it to learn dance or, to play an instrument, that touch and feel, that in-person, sort of guidance that you get is missing? How effective is this? While the opportunity or the idea is noble, and it's something that people would be more open to, but personally, I'm not very convinced that I would like to learn any of these things online. So can you explain how effective is this?
Absolutely.
Gautam, may I?
And
Gautam, shall I do that? Gautam, shall I do that?
Let me start it, and then please join in. So,
Okay.
So a very fair question, and it is like you said, it was in our minds as well. It's just looking at the target audience. One, like I am from that school of thought where it should be touch and feel. Having done a bit of music back in the day, but it has become one very effective because it is a regimented program and it is very well structured. It is not like a one-off ad hoc class that people do. That's one part of it. The second part is, which is down the line, is to have a few physical centers spread in different locations. We've started with one in Dubai. I'm based out of Dubai, where students can actually go in and also learn, periodically, not on a regular basis. So that will complement this. Ankur, I'll let you add more.
No, so thank you, Mrs. Bilani, very, very valid question. But all what I was saying was that this is the new normal. And, our main objective is to connect gurus and prospective learners from different parts of the world to different parts of the world. And online medium is the only medium. I mean, tomorrow, if a learner based out of a small town in India or in Philippines or in Dubai, if they want to learn from the masters who are not in their city, there is no other choice but online. So that's the reason. Yes, absolutely. The transition was difficult, even for the guru, especially in dance, especially in Indian classical dance forms such as, Kathak or Bharatnatyam or Odissi. But they have got the students from different parts of the world to connect with them. And online was the only medium. And like I said, this is the new normal, and we all have to come out of the comfort zone.
But how do you ensure quality control? I mean, fine, these classes are happening online, people are picking up whatever skills, but how do you know that there is adequate learning is taking place, etc.? So that's why, I know we are out of time. So
we are out of time, and I'll be happy to share more details. Like I said, it's a structured course, and there's a lot of back and forth which ensures the students are learning.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Can I just quickly ask, following Anita's great question, I know that the world of edtech is actually going to hybrid learning, so combining the offline and the online. So I'm happy to hear that you're also doing some of that. So do you have any data to back your kind of effective of the program? So let's say completion rate of courses or anything to back your solution.
So right now, like I said, we started the company in April. Effectively, the launch has happened. We're capturing the data. Our data analyst actually comes from Google, is quite efficient. So we're capturing the data. We'll be happy to share that, especially in terms of adoption. Also, in terms of some of the previous data, especially for this field of arts, is not available. So we're trying to create that data as classes progress. So far, we've seen very good traction. Just in 3 months of launching, we have over 1,500 or almost 1,600 users, and made about 15 lakh Indian rupees in revenues. So that's a bit of a testament of that this is working.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Happy to answer.
I think
what I'll do is, unfortunately, as I got disconnected, we'll reshare the deck. Sharan, there is a few more updated slides for people to see, and then more than happy to please take a look, and then we'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, thank you, Gautam, and also, Thank you so much for that. And now I think it's time to get Ipsita Bajaj and Nikhil Vaikala from Sri Kramaha Organics to pitch.
Good evening, one and all. This is me, Ipsita, and with me is Nikhil Waitla. So we are representing a company called Sri Krama Organics, and we would like to share a few ideas why we started it. While I was at LSE, I did my thesis with 50 plus organic farmers in 3 different states in India, and I saw that there is lack of organic food and then organically processed food in out large. So why? Because of weak forward and backward linkages. So along with the farmers, we made some recipes, some nice recipes, doing some R&D, and with that in place, me and Nikhil, we jumped into the market, spoke to some retailers, some manufacturers, looked at some more snacking brands. We all love snacking, right? So we got few nice products in the market, which includes organically produced lentils, and then did some value addition to it, made crisps out of that, followed by organic jaggery products for the people who like sweet. I would especially like to mention our fennel coated jaggery, which is loved by all, young and adult. With this in place, we thought we should have something to drink, right? We thought of coffee. It is loved worldwide. We came up with flavored coffee. So looking at the market size in India, organic food market is about $1 billion right now. We are presently catering to 300 plus families, aiming to cater to 2,500 families by end of next year. On an average, if a family spends with us $80 per month, we will be able to do a variety of products which are in pipeline already, and improving the existing products. Looking at our competitors, Pringles and Lay's dominate the chips and the crisps market in India. There are brands which do organic, lentils, grains, so on and so forth. As far as processed organic food is concerned, there are not many as yet in the market, and we've positioned ourselves such that we are in 50 stores plus in Delhi. Of course, our website is in place. We are also on big e-commerce websites, and we are growing day by day with this. And we are happy to answer questions, hear your feedbacks. Thank you.
Ipsita looks very yummy. I mean, I would love to try the products, but this is a very, 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 very crowded space. How do you ensure that you will get the shelf space that you are, seeking to get? Because just like you, there are many people that are trying different kinds of snacking options with organic products. There are so many home chefs that have discovered themselves during the pandemic, and there is, from the organized to the unorganized providers, there's a huge number of people that is doing all this, and there are a huge number of products. So I'm wondering, how do you scale up and get the right kind of shelf space that you're looking for? Because it is difficult to get that shelf space.
So, before we started this, we also worked on forward linkages as well. It comes out that we spoke with many retailers, and then we are promising, and then we are giving what they were expecting as well. So Pringles, most of our products all our products are priced at the same price of Pringles and Nescafe coffees. So which is making, and we are also giving higher margins to the retailers, due to which they are easily promoting our products and giving us shelf space, ma'am. Also, just to let you know, these Pringles and Nescafe, they are hardly doing any organic produce, we are giving the same quantity, but at the organic produce at the same price only, because of the stronger backward linkages which we have.
Okay. Wish you all the best. I know it's a tough one, but I hope it works out.
Also, we are expanding to Bangalore and Hyderabad as well, ma'am. Delhi, all the major 60 plus stores, it is going.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So tell me, where are you distributing it? Is it all through retail? Are you doing any D2C?
We are doing direct B2B. So whoever are the store vendors, so we speak with the store vendors on the first visit. By the second visit, our products are going to the stores, and the distribution channels happens through our own transportations, logistics team.
So where is it produced? Tell me more about the kind of end-to-end production of it.
We are procuring the raw material from Madhya Pradesh and Punjab, and it is being produced at Delhi.
And Ipshita, like, what's your current traction?
We are having 5 lakhs of turnover per month, and we are aiming. So, like said, sir, this is just 300 customers or family members who have subscription model from our direct website. I'm not quoting the sales which is happening from the stores. And like said, we are working on more product range which is also organic and at the same time the same price, so that people can start moving more towards our websites and order more products. And that's why we are expecting families to spend from $20 to $80 by the next year end, and monthly to buy the products from us.
And which product are they buying the most?
Sorry, sir, can you please repeat?
Which product are they buying the most?
Right. So so first we were doing the chips. To be frank, during the COVID, this is a time where it was pretty tough, and then that's when we started coffee as well. Now since both the products are complementary to each other, both of them are selling equally at the same price, same revenues.
You have a third-party producer for these products. Where is the production happening?
Yes, ma'am. It's happening in Delhi at Oklahoma. So we have a contractual license with them, where the recipe, the flour, everything is happened at our end, because the farmers directly supply to us. We make the flour, we go to the industry, we for 2 straight days we manufacture it, we pack it, and then immediately supply it to the stores, ma'am. So we are not having any charges of the manufacturing industry cost or else any warehousing system as well.
Okay.
So it's basically fresh, you know. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
So if we don't have any more questions, then I think we can move on to the next startup. Thank you so much, both Ipsita and Nikhil, for that presentation.
Thank you
If you could
everyone.
stop sharing this. Yeah, thank you. So now I would like to invite Aarthi Ratnam to present Life at 2M.
Hi, so I'm just going to share my screen right now.
Yeah.
Yes, are you able to see it?
Yes, I can.
Okay, just a second, please. Yes, okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Good evening. Yeah. Being mentally healthy during childhood means reaching emotional and developmental milestones. It allows children to have a positive quality of life and maintain healthy relationships with others and themselves. Mental disorders act as a barrier, changing the way children behave, learn, and handle their emotions. The harsh reality is that 1 in 4 children in the age group of 13 to 15 years in India suffer from depression. Evidence suggests that nearly 50% of mental health disorders develop by the age of 14. This means that by the time a diagnosis is made, it's quite late. And there are several factors that contribute to this, such as a lack of sufficient data, resources, and mental health literacy. In fact, the pandemic has only magnified the problem. But one of the most important factors is stigma. Mental health is often associated with inappropriate labels and preconceived notions, thereby resulting in fear of judgment, shame, or guilt. From a young age, children are led to suppress or disregard their experiences, which causes problems in the long term. So how do we change this? Introducing Life at 2 Meters, a gamified mental health application for children. By bringing together art and science, our application allows children to explore their emotions at their own pace. Further, using digital and clinical tools, parents will be provided with real-time alerts about any potential at-risk behaviors their child could be expressing. So how do we do this? In its most basic sense, it will be an interactive app. Games will be based on languages and interests understood by children, ensuring a model that is age appropriate. Further, using clinically verified methodologies such as cognitive behavioral therapy and technology-driven models like natural language processing, our app will identify specific disorders. Because 50% of mental health issues develop by the age of 14, our target market is children between the age of 6 and 12. To begin with, we will look at adults and children in urban areas with access to a smartphone. Our services will be free and subscription-based depending on parental needs. We will also look to work with schools to include mental health as an academic program. So what makes us different? Our key aim is to create a safe and comfortable environment for a child to understand themselves while simultaneously providing an opportunity for early diagnosis with the right kind of technology. We are looking for data scientists and psychologists to join us in this journey. Good mental health is a universal right, and no one should be denied a healthy quality of life because of stigma, lack of resources, fear of judgment, or distance. Life at 2 Meters stands for compassion and accessibility. Thank you.
Aarti, this is Anita. So
Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. I also have a mental health company. So I'm very interested in what you have to say to my question. Now, you know, one of the areas that I'm also trying to target is this whole space around young children who go through a lot of mental health issues but are not able to articulate. And it's very, very difficult to get parents and also schools to really, consider providing some solutions, because in a school, they just think providing a counselor is like checking the box. How do you think you're going to, get people to really listen to you? Because this is a space which is really hard to target because of the stigma and also acceptability that there is an issue that students could be going through or children could be going through. How are you going to do this? How are you going to take your solution to market?
I definitely agree that there is a stigma right now, but it's also important to consider the world we live in right now. Just the fact that, the pandemic has affected even adults and their mental health. And right now, a lot of adults are coming forward, speaking up about their mental health. And I think this would be a good time to sort of extend that sort of support to children, because right now parents are finding it difficult to maintain a work-life balance, and they cannot constantly have a very hands-on approach to what their child is doing. So I think,
what you're saying, Aarti, is this is philosophical. This is not practical, because I'm in the market selling the services of counselors, therapists, adults, children taking help, but takers are not there. But I think others also have to ask you questions, so I'll refrain from saying anything more. So over to the other panelists.
Thank you.
Just following Anita's question, I also advised to a mental health kind of startup, and one of the questions that were schools and parents kept on asking us is about risk and unintended consequences. You know, when a child is using the app, if there's something that kind of comes out that is even worse, and how do you manage kind of that risk around mental health with children?
I think it's just looking at the current, like the target age group that I am particularly interested in. I think these are years where, you know, a child is developing, you know, their cognitive understanding and just trying to understand themselves better. So with the right kind of you know, therapists and the right kind of technology, we will just sort of identify, is there something to be concerned about? And then, of course, with further investigation, we're not making any diagnosis as such. It's just sort of identifying, is there anything as a parent you should be concerned about? And it's going, and because it's going to be a game, it's going to be in a manner that a child is comfortable to explore. It's going to be something that they can relate to. So it's going to be a simultaneous self-discovery and a sort of warning in case, you know, the parents need to take some action.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aarti, what kind of mental disorders could be catered through this solution?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that?
Sorry, my question was like what like type of mental disorders, right? There is like different kinds of mental disorders. So what's your focus? Like which type are we taking?
Okay, so this is where the model, the business model will come into play a little more. The first, initially, it's just going to be a very primary screening of sorts. You know, is there something particular that the child is showcasing? You know, is there in terms of how they deal with grief or how they are around food? So once you have like an overall understanding, then the next level will be to explore each issue a little further with, and that's how the games will be designed as well.
Okay, and how much like AI and NLP you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Are you already using it in your solution, or is it more of like a future plan?
Right now, we're still in the discovery process because, again, it's very hard to come up with a solution if we don't know exactly what the problem is and who we need to help. So right now, we're still trying to work with teachers, pediatricians, and psychologists to understand better what are the problems children are facing. Then we can work on creating a technology.
Thank you.
Hey, Ajit here. I don't have a question. I hope you are open to taking a suggestion. Given the nature of the subject we are dealing with, given the age of the children you are talking about, your solution can work wonders in a practical sense, not just in a theoretical sense, as one of the other judges said. If you consider making this for the caregiver, namely the parent, as in a lot of parents will not be open to have their child who is suffering from mental health issues download your app and, you know, deal with it because they don't themselves trust your app. Instead, if you could give this as some sort of a tool for the parent or caregiver to understand this and, you know, deal with the situation better, that might also be an interesting market to uncover. Just a suggestion.
Is it okay if I answer that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah. So we're not. It's not a mental health application where post-diagnosis. It's more of a discovery stage. You know, whether there is a mental health issue in the first place. So we're not. It's not for people who already have a mental disorder. It's just about identifying, you know, where the child is at.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you.
A couple of questions. Thank you for the presentation. What stage are you at? It seems very, very, very nascent and early stage. And why are you and if there's a team, why are you the ones who are going to make this business a success?
Yes, it's definitely still in the research stage. And in terms of why I got involved in this, it's just just out of personal experience and how the pandemic has affected me and my loved ones mentally. And I just don't want to see another generation just going through these issues unaddressed from a young age. And I think just considering the time we're living in right now, it's just important to extend mental health support across age groups. There shouldn't be any limitation on who receives the support, or even in fact, what your background is. As long as you have the right kind of people and the right kind of support, I think we will definitely be able to achieve our goal.
All right, thank you for that, Arti. I think we're out of time as far as this presentation is concerned. We'll now proceed to the final startup, microfinance.ai. I'd like to invite Kapil Patil to present.
Hey guys, am I audible, visible, my presentation?
Yes, all good, thanks.
Cool, perfect. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. My name is Kapil. I'm the founder of microfinance.ai. Before going to the presentation, let me share a story why we started this business. In my career of almost 10 years, I started my career in 2013 while working in the state of Odisha. I belong to Gujarat and Maharashtra. I work with a lot of micro enterprises and people to get in financed. I visited more than 100 rural bank branches across India, Bangladesh, and Nepal. Every time I visit the branch, I see hundreds of people lined up outside the branch. Someone is traveling more than 10 miles, or someone just came to deposit 500 rupees of money. India having more than 600 million active internet users, all these users prefer to speak in a local language. When we say that Elon Musk is sending humans from Earth to Moon, why can't we build a technology for local language preferred user to avail financial services? And with that vision, we started microfinance.ai, where we're visioning to transform how local language preferred users are availing financial services. So what is opportunity? India having more than 100 million active microcredit borrowers are there, but hardly 5% of them are digitally connected with micro lenders, which leads to high turnaround times, low loan size, cost of loan is high, and they are not able to get an evaluated financial products. Microfinance.ai promotes a light mobile platform which is specifically designed for the local language preferred user, which comes with assistive UI, video-based learning within application, intuitive repayment tools, and all the screen the user get and voice support in a local language. We are heavily investing in conversation-based application where user need not to type anything. At the same time, micro lenders get in a dedicated web interface with alternate data and maintain that end-to-end relation digitally. So this is not a platform. Our platform is live on a Play Store. First set of loan is sanctioned in the month of June. Nirmala Devi, she is a housewife. She not gotten a school education, and she is Hindi speaking of housewife, and she is able to apply for loan independently through her applications. So every success of microfinance.ai will empower millions of Nirmala Devi to start her micro business. What is state? We currently live with a two partner, Bimo Seva Samriddhi Cooperatives, more than 100 loans sanctioned in the month of June. We had a pipeline of micro lenders who want to associate with us, Midland and Chanura in August. For the next 6 months, we had a B2B partnership with other multiple micro lenders. In terms of competition, we analyze more than 22 tech service companies. We are clearly differentiated product and focused. We are purely borrower focused platforms. We had a clearly differentiated product, go-to-market, and our vision to integrate the technology in our platforms. In terms of revenue model, the loan sourcing fees and the repayment is first initial revenue source for us. And this number and commission has been validated by speaking with more than 30 micro lenders, and they're paying this amount. This is a team. I and Swati are the promoter of the company. We collectively work for more than 15 years in NBFC, banks, fintech. I started one of the NBFCs before going to the LSE. Samir is heading a CTO position with us. Apart from that, we had a seasoned entrepreneurs who successfully built the companies as well as business. We had a commitment for at least 6 angel investors who are going to invest in the company. We see this is a global market. We spoke with the people from Uganda, Kenya, Nigeria. We had institutional investors such as Nordic Microfinance Fund, Symbiotic Group, development world market. They all want to take our product to different market, and we'll take that at the right time. In terms of fund, we are currently raising pre-seed angel round of 500K. We had a commitment of 200K, and we are expecting to close this round in the next 1 month. We got recognition from Mass Challenge Israel and some other competition, as well as LSE Generate. So we are clearly aligned with the sustainable development goals. Yeah. So we are working on empowering next 500 million people to avail digital financial services. I'm happy to respond to the judges' questions. Yeah. Thank you.
Kapil, this is Anita.
Hi.
My question is, so this microfinance.ai is the technology, right? So are you partnering with microfinance companies that are lending to these, there is the joint liability groups, the JLG model. So are you in alignment with those companies? That's the part I'm a little bit unclear about, because you probably are not the lender here, right? That's not the role you're playing, correct?
So most of the lending in the microfinance sector happens through JLG, but the system identifies them as an individual. We help them to digitize their end-to-end process by bringing that JLG borrowers, collecting that information to sanctioning through their systems. We partner with the micro lenders, and we are purely digital platforms. I personally work for more than 10 years in this industry.
Mm-hmm. And which micro lenders are you partnered with?
Yeah, so we currently partner with the Samriddhi cooperatives. We are currently done one initial pilot with the Midland Microfinance, having more than 4.5 lakh borrowers, and we're gonna live with the commercial scaling in a month of August. Yeah.
And how many of these users have downloaded your app, and what is the kind of reach you have?
We just gone live on Play Store in a month of June. More than 100 downloads are currently there. 50 loan has been sanctioned with the partners. Just last week, we integrated the repayment, and then we will go full scale pushing the application within our borrowers space.
And the collection will also happen through your app, because
yes.
one of the ways the JLG model works is that the collectors actually go to the little villages and towns, and the group then pays them collectively. How that is also going to happen through the app?
Yeah, so as I said, repayment is integrated in platforms. UPI QR code, UPI ID payment can be possible, and they can forward that QR code to Google Pay, Phone Pay, any platforms. But I completely understand 95% of repayment is happening cash. We are providing intuitive repayment tool which is available in pocket of the borrower, and how the adaptation will happen. That will gradually digital repayment will be scaled up. But in a COVID time, we are providing very intuitive alternate tool with a notification IBRS call, so that will ensure the right time repayment, either physical or digital.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Hi Kapil, good to see you again. Can I just clarify? So the individual goes to the MFI, they then tell them to download your app, right? It's not the other way around.
So we say that we help them to digitize their borrowers. So it B2B partnership field officer of micro lender, in order to currently they're managing somewhere around 300 loans for a field officer. We say that with our platform, they can increase to 1,000 loans.
I understand that, but is it a white label platform? How does it work in terms of onboarding?
Yeah, it's purely branded platform light. We say that our model is that digitize micro lending space, one branch at a time. We map that particular branch within that, which geography they wanted to work. In that geography, any loans come through that branch, that geography will pass on to that particular micro lending branch.
Okay, so sorry, just to make it really simple, the customer goes to you. What's the first point of interaction for a customer? Is it the lender or is it your platform?
So currently, platform is the borrower will download application through the Play Store, but the information will be passed on by the field officer of the micro lenders. This is an application where we had a partnerships, and you can repay, apply the loan. Yeah.
Okay, so they come into contact with them first, then they say download your app, and then that happens.
Right.
Right.
So if there are no more questions, then we can end the presentation. Is there any other question? We still have 1 minute. So I'll take that as a no. I think it's a couple. You can stop presenting, and now the judges. We'll move to a breakout room, and we'll come to a discussion on who the winners are. And in the meantime, I'd like to request Abhishek Pillai to share some more information with participants about LSE Generate and what they do.
Great. Thank you, Sharon.
Amrita, in the meantime, can you just, yeah, thank you.
Yes, great. Thank you so much, Sharon. Good evening, everyone. That was quite exciting. Good to see LSE Generate helping all these different fields. So my name is Abhishek Pillai. I'm basically a co-founder of a solar SaaS company called Solar Ladder, and also I'm the international LSE Generate ambassador for Mumbai. So a brief about LSE Generate for those who guys don't know about us. It's basically a program for LSE students and alumni to basically build socially responsible businesses. So throughout the events, throughout the year, we have a range of events. So we have funding competitions in both the terms. It seems like some of you have already won few of these competitions. Then we have training events and training sessions. We have an accelerator program coming up, networking sessions. We have a very good co-working space in London that's completely free for all LSE students and alumni to use, and actually a new one coming up in Nigeria also. And finally, we have the international chapters. Now, I'll just sort of give a bit more information about the chapters and how we can help you. So more than 70% of LSE alumni entrepreneurs are not based in UK, they're based in all around the world. So what LSE Generate has done is created these chapters. So there's one in Mumbai, there's one in China, Tel Aviv, US, Brazil, Nigeria. And the main aim is to basically create a local network and support channels for entrepreneurs to rely on and tap into. So in Mumbai, specifically, and India, we will be launching a lot of new events. And as the chapter progresses, hopefully we will have co-working spaces coming up. We will have accelerator programs, and basically creating a community of LSE entrepreneurs and alumni, similar to these other institutes who have a very good and active alumni network. We aim to create that with the help of Generate. So now we are right now planning the events for India and Mumbai, and we would love your help in actually to know what you guys want. So in the chat, I'm actually submitting few links. So one of them is a survey. If you guys can fill this up, it will help us know what kind of events you guys want, what kind of infrastructure and support, and accordingly we can tailor these and launch it. I've put that in the chat of this call. Two important dates that is coming up. One is the funding competition, which is the first term funding competition. The deadline is 22nd September. Entrepreneurs and startups can win up to 30,000 pounds in the competition. And the other one is the Generate Accelerator program, the GAP program. Look out for the dates. It's around early September. It's basically for founders who have developed a basic idea. They know their idea, they know their customers. They're developing the MVP, and Generate can help them with all these different events. Finally, we have, for example, LSE Generate partnered with the LSE Alumni. There are new events coming up, other chapters also having these kind of events with Generate. So if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any of these events and funding competitions and chances, there is a link to our newsletter. You can subscribe to that and you can be updated with all the latest developments that's happening with Generate. And finally, I've also just added a few more links about the funding competition Generate. So you guys can just look at that also. And if you need any help from LSE Generate, you want to know how the Mumbai chapter can actually help you, with these things. I've also put in my LinkedIn account. You can connect with me, and we can definitely chat anytime to see how we can help you in any how we generate can help you with these things. And also, if you want to help us basically create this whole network of support network and hub for LSE alumni in India. So that's from my side. I think very soon the judges will be releasing the question. But if you have any question about Generate, I can answer that right now. You can put in the chat, and we will just wait for the judges to come back, I guess. Thank you so much.
While we're waiting for the judges to come back, please feel free to take a quick break and come back in a couple of minutes. You can get a drink or, just stretch and come back in a couple of minutes. While we're waiting for the judges to make their final decision, I'd just like to tell you about our next event. It's on August 6th, and it's a talk with Karan Johar. And Udita Junjunwala is going to be speaking with him, and we would love for you to join us. You can find the event registration link in the chat, in the link tree. You can also follow us on Facebook or Instagram. And you can also, if you've missed any of our events, you can see them on our YouTube channel. The links are all below in the chat.
Hi guys, I think while the judges are in the breakout room, shall we take bets on who's going to win? And I understand that participants can't speak. So anybody who wants to bribe the judges can speak up now, if Zoom allows you to. I am going to take that as a no. Terrible, it was a one-time offer. In the interest of being clear, this is a joke, and none of us have any control over the actual winners. But I think the special prize should go to Abhishek Pilla's background. Abhishek runs a company. If you can't tell already, it has something to do with solar energy. And he is selling himself very well.
It's easier. People won't forget.
Right.
I've had people, on the call ask me, how do I do this on Zoom? And then I teach them how to do it, and then we go on with the.
And at what time do they receive your invoice for this assistance? What are your credit days?
It's all social costs. I don't charge anything.
No, but honestly, I've heard Abhishek pitch more about LSE Generate than his own venture. Your co-founders must really hate you.
No, but they also do some events in which they pitch, so well added enough. So I think it's equals up. I think you guys can introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi guys, if anyone's new here, I'm Saransh Tikku. I'm the vice chair of the LSE Alumni Association for Mumbai and Western India. Amrita.
Hi everyone, I'm Amrita Bhatia Babo, and I'm the chairperson for the LSE Alumni Association of Mumbai and Western India. And I just wanted to say thank you for your patience. Thanks for waiting for the judges.
Hi everyone, I'm Ankit Modi. I'm the events coordinator for the Alumni Association. Thank you all for being a part of this, and we look forward to you guys joining our next events as well.
And hi, I'm Sonia, the communications coordinator.
We also have an intern with us, Rennie. You could, say hi.
Hi, I'm Rennie Vakil, and I just entered the 12th grade, and I just recently started interning with the LSE Alumni Association of Mumbai and Western India. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun actually.
In true LSE and banking and finance fashion, Renee is an unpaid intern. We wanted to stay true to our core values. Amrita, we couldn't get some music. Do any of us know how that works?
We can't play any music because it's going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel and there are copyright issues.
I see. But does that technically mean that all of us with our videos on are technically YouTubers now? Is that something the rest of us can add? Yes, Sharan.
Yes, we are back. I don't know. Check if everybody is back.
I think so.
Do we have all our judges? Except for Vikram and Nilay because they had to leave.
Oh, I see.
I'll just close all the rooms so that way everyone will be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be back in about 60 seconds or so.
Okay, we got Eleanor and Ajit is left and Anita's left.
Everybody's back, Sharon, already.
Everybody's back, right? Okay, great.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. So basically, we got the results, but before that, I'd like to request the judges, and by judges, I'd like to request Eleanor as a spokesperson for all the judges to speak for around a minute and impart some words of wisdom regarding what exactly drove the entire decision-making process before I announce the winners. So over to you, Eleanor.
Thank you very much, and thank you to everybody who presented. It's really fantastic, fantastic companies, and it was hard to select. But I guess what drove us is a few things. So first of all, we were looking for businesses that demonstrated that they can scale and become impactful, both in making a real measurable difference in society, so they have a strong kind of social impact case, but also in their potential to reach a substantial revenue in sales. We also like to see businesses that show initial demand for the product, so gaining some early traction, because that's always kind of shows that they might be able to obtain venture financing and really have potential to grow. One thing that's very important to all of us is the team, that the team has the right skill set, that has drive, experience, passion, and determination to grow the business, but also that they truly understand kind of the key metrics and the finance behind their venture. And another thing that we looked at is the market opportunity. So we looked for markets that really offer concrete and big enough opportunity for these companies to grow.
All right, thank you so much, Eleanor. That was great. Time for the results for what we've all been waiting for all this time. Okay, so it was extremely difficult to come to a decision about who's going to come second and third, and obviously who's going to be the winner and take home £2,000. And so we ended up with a tie for the second place and the third place. So the companies that are both going to receive £750 in money from LSE Generate and mentorship as well are ZLab Pharmacy and Microfinance.ai. So a round of applause for them, guys. And finally, the winner of Pitch It, who will win and who is going to receive £2,000 in prize money is, drumroll, Impagro Farming Solutions Private Limited.
Woohoo!
So Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
before everyone goes, I'd like to first ask all the three winners to speak a bit about what they're going to do with the money, what it means for them, and also about what kind of mentorship they require.
Should I speak first?
Yeah, sure.
First of all, thank you very much, Sharon, and thank you everybody, all the judges, for recognizing what we are doing at Zila Pharmacy. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to us at our team. What we will do with the money is educate more people about bioequivalence of medicines, how every single medicine sold in the market in India is exactly the same product, while the customers are being exploited because of medical patriarchy in the system that has gone on for the last 200 years. That's how we're going to deploy the fund. That's what we're going to do with the money. In terms of mentorship, what we really seek from where we are at the moment is the next step, because we're already at about 5 to 6 million pounds in revenue. So really automating our processes, how we can really make this into an enduring company, and look towards becoming, say, an in detail 1,000 crore Indian company. So the next 18 years, how to automate processes and how to really scale to become a big sort of Indian corporation and really reach out to all Indian customers, all 1.3 billion people of India.
That's great. Thank you so much. So, what about microfinance? Let's ask Kapil what he's going to do with the money and what kind of mentorship he wants.
Sure. Thanks a lot, everyone. We've been associated with LSE since long, and wonderful to get in a different mentorship and support throughout this journey. We primarily use these funds to increase our tech team, to increase our capabilities, how fast we can execute the work. We're already raising fund, and that will help us to increase our runway and start rolling the product so we can reach to more and more users, so that become more impactful as soon as possible. And so in terms of mentorship support, we would be love to someone who can help us to reach out to the other people who are interested to associate in terms of guiding, mentoring, as well as fundraising in our activities, what we do. Yeah.
Thanks for those words, Kapil, and now I'd like to call on the winner. I'd like to call on the founders of Impagro Farming Solutions Private Limited to share some words about what they have in mind.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start and I'll let Akbar continue after me as well. But yeah, thanks a lot for choosing us as a winner. It means a lot to me. I mean, I did 2 degrees at LSE, my undergrad and my postgraduate, and I kind of got incubated by Aspect as well. So it's good to carry on the LSE journey. In terms of what I need to spend, I need to pay a few farmers on Monday for about 5-6 tons of potatoes, so that would help. But yeah, no, seriously, we're working on, in the next few weeks, we've got like a software partner with whom we're working with to start developing a digital solution. So that will help, the money will help towards kind of, those services, developing those services. In terms of mentorship, I think it would be, what we're really looking for now is we're going to fundraising mode. So someone to kind of help us streamline our proposition for investors would be great.
I'll just add to Surid, thank you to the whole LSE Generate Mumbai and Western Maharashtra team to give us this opportunity, and thank you judges for selecting us, and thank you for all the other participants who made brilliant pitches. Just to add to what Surid was saying, I think we're at a very exciting time right now, and globally, with COP26 on the horizon in the UK, and a lot of debate and narrative is going to focus on climate change and how we're going to achieve our net zero kind of targets, whether it's governments or multinational companies. And I think at this point of time, whatever traction we can kind of build up before, and this the money will help us expand as much as we can. And just position ourselves as being one of the kind of foremost pioneering companies, which would, help farmers really unlock the potential of, green finance, which is, going to be huge in the coming months. So that's all I would like to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to all the three winners, and we'll discuss more about the next steps offline. But this brings us to the end of the event, and I hope that all of you had a great time. We will be having other exciting events as well very soon, and the very first one is on the 6th of August at 7 p.m. Indian time, and it's with none other than Karan Johar. So do register using the link in the chat. Please also leave your feedback using the link in the chat. And I would like to thank the judges for sparing their invaluable time, the contestants for their amazing pitches, LSE Generate for all their generous help and support, without which it would have been impossible, and also to all the audience for attending. So do have a great weekend and stay safe.